Hello everyone, this is the trouble spot for Chapter 4, Time and Place Adverbs versus Prepositions. Okay, first to start we're going to look at what time adverbs are. Time adverbs tell you when something occurred. And according to our text, they can be grouped into two categories, definite time references and indefinite time references. Okay, so here are some examples. Tracy went to the mall yesterday. Barbara is going on a field trip with her class tomorrow. I saw Jackie today, and last week we had our first class. So notice all of these adverbs inform the individual exactly when the event or instance took place. Indefinite time references are not as specific, as you'll see with these examples. Heather will speak to the principal soon. Scott will go to the store now. James heard the story before. Now, time adverbs, they can tell you about the past, the present, the future, and in a couple minutes we'll brainstorm some other adverbs that are considered time adverbs. But oftentimes you might notice by looking at these example sentences that the adverbs, not always, but they often show up at the end of a sentence. Okay, so you can see most of the examples there have this, the adverbs at the end of the sentence. These adverbs can also tell you how long something lasted or lasts. They express a period of time. You could do since, 2 weeks, 1 day, 1 year, 3 months. Those also would work for the time adverbs. Okay, so here is an example, or two examples here at the bottom. Maria went to the mall yesterday is one example. Again, you have the adverb at the end of the sentence. And the second sentence, yesterday Maria went to the mall, placing the adverb at the beginning really has you focus on the time is being stressed in the sentence. If you put the adverb at the end, you're really stressing more so the actual action that took place. Okay, so normally the word order would be subject, verb, object, adverb, like in that first sentence. If you wanted to stress the time that it happened, the sentence would look more like the second sentence about Maria provided on the slide. Okay, be careful. Our text did note that time adverbs can also function as nouns. And when this happens, in order to recognize that they're serving as nouns, the adverbs are the subject of the main verb. So in these two examples, yesterday was a horrible day. Yesterday is the subject of the verb was, and tomorrow is the subject of the word will be. And tomorrow will be a better day. Okay, so they have to be the subject of the main verb. Okay, so now in the chat, can you identify some other adverbs? If you can, just write it in the chat. Okay, and according to our text and some other sources which I cited that are at the end of the presentation, these are all examples of different time adverbs that any type of speaker can use, both definite and indefinite adverbs. And I would imagine, I don't have any L's this year, but I would imagine that the indefinite ones, adverbs, may be a little bit more challenging for L's to really truly understand when it's appropriate to use them. And we could talk about that later on at the end of the presentation. Okay, the next topic of this trouble spot are adverbs of place. So these tell us where. So this can refer to location, direction, position. And these are just some of the many adverbs of place that one can use. So above, back, behind, below, east, near, and around. And these words can also end in the following: ward, wards, or where. So some words you are probably familiar with: homeward, backwards, nowhere. And adverbs of place usually occur after the main verb or the clause that they are modifying. And you'll be able to see that when I show you a couple sample sentences later on. Okay, so just like we did for the time adverbs, can you try this in the chat? Can you think of other adverbs of place in addition to the ones that I've provided you? Here is a chart listing just some of the many other adverbs of place. Okay, so let's try this. So you have to determine here, I've bolded the adverbs, okay, for you to see. And I want you to say whether or not, in the chat you could do this, whether or not it is an adverb of time or place. And you could do this by just saying sentence 1 and then write if it's time or place. So number 1, I saw that play last year. Number 2, the train traveled eastward. Number 3, he went somewhere warm for vacation. Number 4, she will do her project tomorrow. Okay, and here are the answers. Number 1 is an adverb of time. Okay, definite. Number 2 and 3 are adverbs of place, and number 4 is an adverb of time. Now, the part where this may get a little tricky for English language learners, or really anybody, is adverb or preposition. And how can you tell? Because many adverbs of place also function as prepositions. So 2 sample sentences for us to look at. So my father just drove past us, and the truck just went past. So the big question is, how do you distinguish both the same word, past, but one is being used as a preposition and the other is being used as an adverb? So in the first sentence, past is a preposition, and in the second, past is an adverb. Based upon these 2 sentences, can you figure out what the rule is to distinguish between adverbs and prepositions? Okay, so when the word is serving as a preposition, as you could see in the first sentence, it must be followed by a noun. So us is the noun. Adverbs of time and place usually follow a verb or an object. So in the second sentence, the verb is went. So that's how you can determine that it is an adverb. You can also, in doing my research for this, I found you can ask yourself at the end of, after each word that you're determining if it's a preposition or an adverb, you can say what. So my father just drove past what? Past what? Past us. So if it has an object, it is acting as a preposition. If it has no object, it's acting as an adverb. So let's do the second sentence. The truck just went past. Past what? It doesn't state that, so it's an adverb. So that's something that helped me, and it might help you as well. Okay, and here's a chart, and the source that I found this is linked, hyperlinked at the bottom. But you could do the same thing. On the left-hand side, you see all the words that can serve as both an adverb and as a preposition. So if we look at the first one, the marble rolled around in my hand. Okay, so it's following the verb, and then this, when it's used as a preposition, I am wearing a necklace around my neck. Around what? My neck. And you could see, if you use that rule, I think through all of these, they should work for you. So behind, hurry, you are getting behind. Okay, behind what? It doesn't state anything, but it is following a verb. And then behind in the next sentence, let's hide behind the shed. Behind what? The shed. Okay, so that little trick helped me a bit, and I hope it does as well for you. But I think this chart will be useful for you to look at. And again, the adverb or preposition are bolded for you to see. Okay, so let's look. Let's determine if each word is being used as an adverb or a preposition. You can write your answers in the chat. So Leah left her coat inside the closet. Kristen hoped to be inside before the storm came in. Hannah should go outside while we clean the house. Dilma looked everywhere she could think of. 5. In the back of the book, you will find the answer key. Okay, you could write your answers in the chat just as you did before. And you could say sentence number 1, being used as an adverb or preposition, and so on. Okay, and here are our answers. Okay, so hopefully those exercises helped you, and some of those general rules and tricks helped you. Thank you for listening to this Troublespot. These are all resources that I utilized when putting this together, and I hope you found it somewhat helpful and that you were able to utilize these sources as well. Thank you.